the incident at the Rite of Dissension. Before finally defeating an ancient god. A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yanfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address.
All right, Yanfei, all right. You'll have to excuse Yanfei.
Paimon was gonna ask the same question.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus.
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis, and anyway, let's not dwell on that. The chasm's been sealed.
Is that so? Yanfei.
I know, Granny, you've told. Hold on.
Whoa, that's a really...
Commercial consultancy. Crossel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be. So, I guess I'll go look for him. Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem.
Wow, an Adeptus imploring us to avoid... Best we be a little more careful. La la la.
My friend.
Hello, Mr. Crossel.
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job.
Well, Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize. I've already rented them out to a lady named Zhiqiao. If you'd like to
Wait, isn't Smaragdus jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Zhiqiao before. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Miss Zhiqiao and the...
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us is
In that case, might you know where Miss Zhiqiao lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we saw...
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossel. We'll be off now.
I should open a store here.
Da da da.
Oh, whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me. Is there...
How do you do, Miss Zhiqiao? We understand from Mr. Crossel. My associates and I are very interested in them.
The hairpins? I don't know how it could have happened, I always kept them right by my... I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their... My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss price. That's what the hairpins were for, well, to keep up appearances. I can't have them looking down on me. But now that I've lost the hairpin...
Why does Paimon have a sudden...
Would you really? I sent a commission to the adventure...
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Miss Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract?
Huh? Well...
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a... True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Cross. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current... And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final...
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Juchao looks like she's about to...
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are locked. Whichever way you look at it, we've got to...
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the Jadeite is genuine, would there?
Please. Please, however much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossel in the dark any longer. I'll go...
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, so hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. When you first...
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones... My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so...
Smooth to the touch. Fine. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things.
I should open a store here.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With... You lost them? Are you serious?
I'm sorry.
Mora! Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus Jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose...
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes, and if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine Smaragdus Jadeite inlaid into the hairpin.
Of course! Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpin?
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have some... It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may...
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already...
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living. Let's just... I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus Jadeite is found deep underground and contains very concentrated elemental. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. It most certainly would not be smooth to the touch. Mr. Chow, Did you at any time feel unwell?
No, not at all. I felt...
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossel's vicinity. If I have deduced correctly, he may still have the Smaragdus Jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose...
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would... And then he'd throw the Smaragdus Jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpin...
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talk.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions at my disposal.
Well then, since...
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow.
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know.
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into...
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally...
This contract has so many pages!
Alright, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like...
Miss Yanfei, I have to ask...
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong traces of geo-energy around Mr. Cross. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on some Smaragd. Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their advantage, I won't stand for it. But again, let's not dwell on this. I've got it! Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade Mystery. If Mr. Crossell had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Oh there. Come and see these rare and precious...
Why, hello there.
No, nothing of the
Snezhn... I do remember. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it. He was quite generous with his... Why, yes.
Thank you, sir. Well...
Huh? If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and pattern... Yes! It's not particularly rare, nor is... I've heard it said that Smaragdus Nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite, though no one's ever proven.
A thin layer of separation.
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy.
Is that so? So, did you find anything? So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao is able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards?
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across... These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very... There may be only a subtle difference for the... And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
Alright, let's focus up. We're going...
But, never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them.
Miss Yanfei? Might I be so bold as to inquire,
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your...
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here. It says quite clearly, 1 chunk Smaragdus Jadeite, uncut.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course.
Oh, I have my reasons. Yes. Please sign here on this affidavit. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought.
Yes, I see.
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue.
With this hard evidence to back us up,
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Aha! Got it! Sinxie. She often helps people.
well, that was quick. How come you know so many people?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, but the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? As such, legal advisors like myself.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all the legal codices.
You memorized them?
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advice. Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
Again, with that casual tone.
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Sinxie.
La la la.
Oh, Miss Yanfei, it's you.
Have no further trouble. Has a merchant by
Crossell. Yes, I remember him. He's a The design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Even this order was on hold for a very long.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Sinxie, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossell commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did...
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so Mr. Crossell wasn't very familiar with the necessary. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the inlaid gemstone is recorded as smaragdus jadeite. The document even has the official seal of...
Thank you, Sinxie. And
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it...
nothing you need to worry about. Just a minor issue. I'll return your document.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is...
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need.
The weirdo with the...
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that smaragdus jadeite is... Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hand...
Woo! La la la. Ha. Woo! La la la.
Please, show me your prescription.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, she's out gathering herbs. And if it isn't Miss Yanfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What business?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with smaragdus jadeite.
Smaragdus jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the Seven Mountain Treatises states that it is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Anyway, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting—
That is indeed the case.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document, won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a... But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of... I wonder, Miss Yanfei.
You needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baizhu.
You're too kind. Take care now.
That Baizhu guy is as weird as ever. Is it just Or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well,
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust you will now be in a position.
yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final
Wonderful. Well then, please.
Of course. According to the stipulation, Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus Jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus Nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus Jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authority. If we want to determine whether the ore is genuine, we need to start with evidence from the jade. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus Jadeite and Smaragdus Nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus Nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite, he returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store.
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to...
Ugh. Looks like our first
Hard evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence...
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed yet. Traveler, would you do the honors?
What?
Smaragdus Jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere sustained contact with Smaragdus Jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to... I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the... However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence... I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigations.
What? Wait!
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear, Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus Jadeite's dangerous properties beforehand, why would...
Huh? No,
Aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus Jadeite? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this... Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Yanfei's seriously intimidating.
I admit it. I confess. But I'm a victim in all of this, too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus Jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would... But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn. That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus Nephrite, which is almost indistinguishable from Smaragdus Jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus Jadeite in a specially made box. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Zhiqiao lost...
Exactly! If they weren't the real deal...
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus Jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then...
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract...
10 times?
Crossell looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus Jadeite!
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much more. Even if the Smaragdus Jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility.
Ms.
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus Jadeite...
What? But all right then.
Miss Yanfei, I'll turn this Smaragdus Jadeite over to you.
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yanfei. When you have...
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again... Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no...
Is that so? That's good.
Actually, Mr. Crossell, I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores, I think we could do some fine business.
Let me think for a moment.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well.
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've... even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hair...
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, an Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? And Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor. In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal...
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reason.
Well, since we got what we came for, it's time.
You've returned. Good, good.
Well, if we're all set, Granny.
Oh, you. Oh.
I'm off then. Bye! Oh yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly.
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no...
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
That child. Indeed she is. Yanfei might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most, Liyue. All right then. Let us speak of this no more. Back on top.
Oh, Paimon's so excited!
It is but a single... There, hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, take these blueprints with you as well.
Wait a minute, Granny! How exactly are...
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little helper to...
Teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's! Huh. But there's just a whole load of pine I can't still. Oh, wait a... seems that it's a huge finch! Excuse me, Oh, call me. I suppose you may... So you're the... Madam, you may leave. Your journey may be far, though it is the... Thus, you may consider me. Now, have you any blueprints on you? As long as you have a blueprint. Blueprints? Yes, these just commit the then simply... Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole city! I doubt it. A golden-eyed adeptus explained, he said, that even though subspace creation is a this world is not a true one, after all. A golden-eyed adeptus? I hardly remember myself. What's more, well, let's not dwell if there's...
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. Where do you want to go next? If you'd like to see Liyue's tourist spots, I have a few references.
Maybe you're...